So I'm usually a collector of video games, but I've recently started collecting old PlayStation magazines, both PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 magazines. And I came across one on eBay recently that I had to get my hands on. This is official UK PlayStation magazine's 42nd issue, and it's from way back in February 1999, 21 years old, this magazine. So I thought I'd go through it on a video to show you what I was looking forward to in 1999, but also what the gaming community was shouting about way back in 1999. And things are slightly different back then. Nobody cares that you're a guitarist, Phil. They flash their tits to get free beer. They look like basement dwellers. Not that I tried it, obviously. Get stuffed, you virgin. How short-changed would you feel for being one of the world's biggest knob-ends? Apart from all those people I murdered. On a little bit of a side note to the introduction from the start of this video, not only did I get this is 21 years old, this magazine, and it's in really good nick. There's a little bit on the opening spine that's a bit of a problem. I also got this. This is the original demo disc that came with it, and you can see, if I put it in the camera properly, there isn't a scratch on it. It's absolutely pristine. So I'm going to be playing that at some point. So I'm going to flick through the magazine on my right hand side here. I will intersperse this with pictures of what I'm seeing with regards to my reactions. Oh look! It's Driver. This must have been way back when, before Driver 1 came out. I'll just read you the opening paragraph. More news on Reflections Driver, which since our primal screen has been arousing mucho anticipation. It's going to be released by GT Interactive, and it looks remarkable. It certainly did for its day. In some ways, it bears comparisons to Grand Theft Auto. However, while GTA was a visual shambles, those are fighting words, Driver looks to be a beautiful beast, displaying the automated mayhem in high res. The title now includes night sections and some highly impressive lighting effects. Well, there's also a little bit on Wipeout 3 as well on the opposite page. It actually has a Wipeout wishlist. So this is what they wanted from Wipeout 3. They wanted a high res mode. They also wanted 60 frames a second screen update. 2-player link-up or 4-player, save to memory card, 2 secret tracks, because everyone loves a secret track, a rear view mode, GT style replay mode, a craft customization, and it has to be compatible with a Namco's JogCon. I don't think I ever had a JogCon, largely because I don't know what it is. Apparently, this magazine, up until its 42nd episode, would give people money to do stupid things. I'm just going to read the opening paragraph to this article, because this is insane, okay? I think once this guy did what he did, they went, we can't do this anymore and we have to pull it because this is getting really daft and really dangerous. It's the end of an era. PSM is sad and perhaps a little relieved to bring a grand day out to a close. Welcome to our last big cash prize winner, and we're sure you'll agree we're going out with a bang with perhaps our balmiest coup yet. This knobhead was called John Sterling, but because he got money from this thing for doing stupid things, he officially changed his name to Sony PlayStation. How much of an utter bellend do you have to be to do it? Now I wonder whether he's still called Mr. Sony PlayStation, or whether his family had him committed to an institute to go and get help. And then underneath it says raving, it's a bit of a mouthful, raving retrospective. And it's just a little preview of the Grand Day Out winners. So one guy in picture 1 there has a really awful tattoo of Lara Croft wearing what appears to be her undies. Now, that's at the top of his arm, and he got £500 for doing that. For disfiguring his body with a terrible Lara Croft tattoo, he got £500. There were infinite pictures of girls dressed as Lara Croft, basically trying to get their knockers out. And number 5, the caption for number 5 says, and perhaps most famously of all, Mr. May of Reading got married dressed as Parappa the Rapper. The reason? £1,000. He got given £1,000 to dress like Parappa the Rapper on his wedding day. A man changes his name to Sony PlayStation and gets 500 quid. How short-changed would you feel for being one of the world's biggest knob-ends? Oh, I could win a telly. Take Max Power's time trial to triumph. They don't do that kind of thing nowadays, do they? Probably because it's cheating. A lot of cheating goes on, I would have thought. Asteroids Challenge. 6 men, 3 days and a broken record. Ever wondered what it takes to get in the Guinness Book of Records? Not really. 72 hours of playing Asteroids, according to web collective Clan UK. Its 6-man team has recently broken a record for continuously playing of a video game by blasting away on Activision's revamped classic for 3 days solid. The record attempt was held in conjunction with Activision, and the entire event was videoed for scrutiny by Guinness officials to make sure that the contestants didn't sneak off down the pub. Without meaning to sound horrible, they don't look like the pub-going type. They look like basement dwellers. But still, it's a good achievement. You're in the Guinness Book of Records, which is something I could never do, apart from all those people I murdered. It should be a game. So apparently people used to write in and give the magazine ideas for computer games that might work. This guy wrote in with a game called Mountain Mayhem. The concept: you travel the world scaling large mountains, beating off other bearded clamberers. The pitch: firstly, you must hire trustworthy Sherpas, not unscrupulous thieves. Then, mountain ascent from base camp. Hazards include drunken Scotsmen throwing whiskey bottles at you and singing Welshmen causing avalanches. I think we're getting a little bit down the racist route here. Some of the other games that they got sent in this month was a guy called Andrew Deacon who recommended a paparazzi video game. You had to sneak around in an effort to snap minor celebrities up to no good whilst keeping an eye on your tiredness meter. And my favourite, I read this a little bit earlier on, my favourite is from Silas Rayner, and you can see his sketches down the right hand side there. Silas's idea was Airport 2000. You build your own plane, you shoot tanks with Uzis, and then you return and build more planes. Silas, you should have gone into computing and level design. Oh, I could win a Ford Puma! It's not often that a magazine gives away a car valued at over £15,000. And so we're giving you another chance to enter. You can win yourself a brand new Ford Puma by mastering our free playable demo of Psygnosis' forthcoming Super Racer Roll Cage. Roll Cage, I remember Roll Cage. I do remember playing Roll Cage. It was the car that you drove normally, and if you flipped it on its roof, it still drove. Look at that Ford Puma. The gorgeous Ford Puma in full effect. Imagine pulling up outside the chip shop in this beauty. You get your mushy peas for free. Yeah, all over your friggin' bonnet, I would imagine. Oh, you could get any 5 CDs or cassettes. Christ, that places it, doesn't it? Cassettes, that places the dates. And you could have a free storage unit, which is utterly hideous in every way, shape or form. Oh my god, you could get a Resident Evil comic. How on earth do I get hold of those now? You could buy an Abe's Exodus Funtime kit. Sounds a bit dodgy to me. It's basically plastic cups, a pack of cards, and a keyring. And to win all of that stuff, you had to answer the question, which was, name the 1970s men's fragrance which had a martial arts theme. I'll just let everyone from that era shout that out, so that shout that out at the screen. I'm very aware of what it is, but I'll let you get all that. University Challenge. Okay, so Richard had a fanny part and says, I drink far too much, but I'm a Tekken 3 god. When asked about his opinions on Tekken 3, he said it's a lot better than Tekken 2. You should become a reviewer, Richard. There's also another delightful couple down at the bottom there called Tarka and Katie. Don't they look delightful? Don't they look delightful? Their fact is that they flash their tits to get free beer. So well done to Tarka and Katie. And apparently their boyfriends ignore them because of it. I'm astonished that you have boyfriends to begin with way back in 1999 if you get your knockers out as regular as clockwork. Oh, it's the first look of Ridge Racer Type 4. God, I desperately wanted this game, but I never owned this game. Look at it, isn't it pretty? You can get this thing for about £4 on eBay at the moment. I remember staring at these screenshots, desperate to be able to get my hands on these games. Apparently, under a first look at Monaco Grand Prix, Cameron Diaz and Christian Slater did a film called Very Bad Things for Boys That Should Know Better. I don't remember that one at all. Must have passed me by. Prince Asim Boxing! Before he lost his fight and went all fat. I never played Prince Asim Boxing, but a few people have got in touch and said that it was quite good as a boxing game. I never played it. I've never really got into boxing games. The official 4-player multi-tap. Everybody wanted a multi-tap so they could get everyone, including their grandma, to play their PlayStation 1. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, a little analysis, a couple of pages about it. I played very limited amounts of Legacy of Kain. Jesus Christ. Who is that? Is that meant to be Pierce Brosnan? That's quite a nice advert. I quite like that one. Quite clever. What the hell is Running Wild? Does anyone remember a game called Running Wild? It's a running simulator. And apparently it's an animal running simulator, so I can see a kind of sexy panda woman. Never heard of it in my life. And now I'm looking at pictures of it, really wanting to see what it was all about. Is it on here? I really wish it was on here. It's not on here either, so I can't play Running Wild, which is really annoying. The UK's biggest and best audio cheat service. First of all, I never phone these numbers. I'm not really a particularly big cheater. You used to phone these numbers and ask for cheats for their games. Like, I mean, they've got a list of them here. They were premium numbers, so it says down the bottom here, calls cost 60p a minute at all times. 60p back then was like £900 now. Here we go. Metal Gear Solid. Does Metal Gear Solid live up to the hype? What do you think? And does yourself in PlayStation's best game yet? But looking at screenshots of levels that I haven't seen in, well, 20 years, basically. 15 to 20 years. And remembering these moments. That's obviously a spoiler alert warning, but we are 21 years past. So if you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 1, I'm sorry, but there might be little pictures in here that you might not recognise. There's the Metal Gear Solid cast. President At. Psycho Mantis. Rubber. Metal Gear's Gimp. Master Miller, an ex-comrade of Snake's, who's on hand to dish out some very bloody obvious advice. Anyone who wears sunglasses at night is an arse. I'd probably agree with that. And you just want to play these games again. Now that you can play them. When these games came out, you probably didn't own the game. You bought them because you wanted to play the game. Desperately wanted to play the game. But now you read this and you go through all the pictures and you look at it and you go, I'm going to have to play this. So you go and put a PlayStation 1 upstairs in the man cave. So how did it do? Final verdict was the best game ever made. Packed a gameplay, graphics and originality triple punch. Unputdownable while it lasts and unforgettable when it's finished. I would completely and utterly agree with that, PlayStation Magazine. Amazing. Akuji the Heartless. Does anyone remember Akuji the Heartless? I don't remember Akuji the Heartless. If you got 8 out of 10, that's not too bad. Viva Football, 7 out of 10. A Dutch player's doing a backflip with a nice moustache and mullet there. Sensible Soccer Euro Club Edition. Oh god, it only got 2 out of 10. The final review, a dreadful release. The playability of the Amiga game was its strongest aspect and is noticeably absent here. Numerous fundamental flaws heap on more misery, 2 out of 10. So that was a big miss for the Sensible Soccer Euro Club Edition. Oh, Max Power Racing. Alongside these magazines, I used to buy old Max Power and Fast Car magazines as well for modified cars. Obviously I have my car, but I'm not modifying it in any way, shape or form. So this must have been, I don't even know whether or not you could modify in Max Power Racing. It looks like you just got a modified car and drove it round. So its release date was in January, a month before this was out. I'm gonna have to, maybe I should try and find one of these Max Power Racings on PS1 on eBay. It got 7 out of 10, there's a Megane there as well. 7 out of 10. I love these cards as well. I used to get these cards in the magazines as well. I don't know if you can see that. I used to get these cards in the magazines, and they were basically to try and get you to subscribe to the magazines. You probably still get them in the magazines nowadays, actually. But this one, if you wanted 12 issues via UK cheque or credit card, you had to give them just shy of £59, and you got a free game. That's Poi Poi 2. It got a 7 out of 10, but I have no idea what on earth this game was. And the fact that it was number 2, so there must have been a Poi Poi 1, which... Fun. Pool Hustler, 6 out of 10. A world exclusive of Gran Turismo 2, the greatest racer of all returns. And then there's a quick playtest for Hugo, that only got 2 out of 10. Gameplay, if there's a place beyond boring, it's here. Lifespan, 4 minutes and 48 seconds. It got 2 out of 10, and the final verdict was devilishly toss. I'm going to try and find Hugo and play it. Because you know when things are shit and you just go, I've got to play that because it's so utterly terrible, I have to play that game. And then we get into the top secret area at the back of the magazine, which nowadays if you're stuck on a game, you go on YouTube. If you're stuck anywhere else, you go on a website and you get the advice from them about how to complete it and what to do next. Way back when we didn't have all that, you had to text your friends, you had to speak to people in the playground about how to complete things. You had to find the code to try and get Lara Croft in the nip, which never worked. Not that I tried it, obviously. So when we were looking at the cheat codes earlier on, where you had to phone a premium number, Official PlayStation Magazine then puts those cheats in the back. So you could just look in the back of the PlayStation Magazine. Meh. Then there's an A to Z of games at the time. Everybody's Golf. Obviously, I adored Everybody's Golf. Tested one of the Everybody's Golf for the PlayStation 2, which was very good. Very good indeed. I loved it very much. Oh, the top 5 races: Colin McRae Rally, Circuit Breakers, Gran Turismo with a 10 out of 10, Tokyo Touring Car Championships, and Wipeout 2097, Pandemonium, which is apparently going to be a very, very, very good game. Grand Theft Auto only got 8 out of 10 for Grand Theft Auto 1, amazingly. And then you could phone, strangely enough. So you can see obviously now that, I mean, these will all be obsolete now, they're all completely useless, but I'm interested as to why they would put phone numbers in the back for production companies, like developers and stuff like that. When I tested for Sony, the building that I worked in was the old Sony building, was the old Psygnosis building, so That building, Napier Court on Waverley Tech Park, that was where I tested my computer games when it changed hands from Psygnosis to Sony, which was presumably quite shortly after these magazines were released, because I joined in 2001 when it was Sony. It has a game chart as well from Game, with Tomb Raider 3 riding high, obviously. FIFA 19, it's amazing how FIFA's never gone away. It's always been sort of there or thereabouts. Games that you would expect to see in the top 40, things like Gran Turismo, Tekken 3, Colin McRae Rally, Tenchu, such a huge game. PlayStation Games. These were another area of the magazine I used to look at and think, oh, I'd really love that. On the right hand side of the page you can see the Top Gear and Top Drive steering wheels. I owned the one with Best Buy written on it. I bought it from one of these magazines to play. I think it was Gran Turismo. I mean, my memories of it were, as soon as you gave it a little bit of left, it went full lock on left, because it was directional buttons rather than analog sticks. So as soon as you pressed it, it was just full on. So you had to do a lot of tweaking like that. So what do we get on the CD? Well, naturally we get Metal Gear Solid. We get Max Power Racing. I've got to play some Max Power Racing. I'll do another video where I get this on the go. I'll do another video. Ex-Fruit Machine engineer reveals unknown secrets and win £100 a day on the Fruit Machines using the most comprehensive guide available. These are for addicted people. Yes, please rush me my copy of Insider's Guide to Fruit Machines and free bonus guide. Send a check made for £10. These people are crooks. And then obviously at the right at the back there are letters that were sent in by readers, and a couple of them are absolutely unbelievable. I'm writing to say how appalled I am with the cheats in the PlayStation magazine. The cheat pages only show the more popular games and new releases. For example, WWF, Warzone, Grand Theft Auto and Gran Turismo. No PlayStation magazine I have purchased has shown any less popular games. By the less popular I mean games less talked about amongst some friends. For example, Soviet Strike, Lone Soldier and International Track and Field. I have purchased 5 PlayStation magazine copies now, and not one shows the cheats some people might need. On the other hand, I've purchased 2 copies of a different magazine that show me everything I need to know. If no action is taken towards this matter, I shall never waste £5 of pocket money which I have saved on a pointless magazine. However, I would ask you to reply to this letter, and if something is to be done or not to be done, I would like to know about it. Also, before I conclude, many of my friends say the same thing, that no cheats we really need are put in official PlayStation magazine. John Henderson, Tyne and Weir. Well, John Henderson, I think you need to fight the power more. I won't give you their response, but it basically just says, get stuffed, you virgin. My personal favourite is this one over here, a very, very small letter that writes under 12s. And it says, I have a suggestion to improve your magazine. Why don't you get together a group of under 12s and ask them to write about games for the under 12s? Because they are under 12 and they know what other under 12s want and will enjoy. And the magazine writes back, your letter is unfortunately the reason why the under 12s don't write for the under 12s about games the under 12s might be interested in. You used the phrase under 12s 4 times in 46 words. Afraid it doesn't make for great reading. Perhaps you might be interested in our brand new sister title, PlayStation Max, which does very much cater for the under 12s. I can tell you that that will have scarred that child for life, that response. Basically taking the piss out of their grammar, rather than telling the people who basically say that the magazine is crap, rather than knocking them down a peg or two, they jump on an under 12 and give him a good bashing. There is one over here by a guy called Phil Ward from Manchester, and he says, I'm more of a guitarist than a gaming enthusiast, but that's not to say I don't take an interest in your magazine, which my brother buys every month. So I was seeing what was on your demo disc when I came across that video of Silent Hill. The graphics are incredible. What really stood out was the music. I listened to it again and thought it was so brilliant. So who's it by and where can I get it? Phil Ward there telling everyone that he's not really into gaming, he's more of a music kind of guy, and that's why he likes the Silent Hill demo just for the music, and the graphics are incredible, but I'm not a gamer. Nobody cares that you're a guitarist, Phil. And just down there on the right hand side there is a fantastic drawing of Lara Croft with an X as a belly button by somebody called Sarah Blackie. That brings us to the end of the magazine, which is really sad. I just have to go and buy another one. So that was a little video of the inside of the latest copy that I bought of official UK PlayStation magazine, issue number 42, way back from February 1999. It would have been January when it was released in 1999, so it would have been my birthday month. And it has one of my favourite games of all time in there. Did any of these ring any bells with you? Does the magazine cover itself ring any bells for you? I'd love to hear in the comments to find out whether or not you liked it. If you like this video and would like to see more, because I do have a number of these magazines dotted around, my missus is going mental about it, give us a like and tickle that subscribe button to become one of my testies, and I would love to see you in another one of my videos very, very soon. So take care of yourselves, and I shall see you in another one of my videos very soon. Goodbye.